Hello everyone. Just kind of wanting to do a video about tanking a couple of dungeons. I think two is how much I ended up doing in this recording. And I'm trying to do it not live this time to see if it's any different. I will say overall for this new Celestials or whatever they're called, it really wasn't that great. I feel like the gear I have, which is not super good in any way, is already above and beyond what you need to run any of these Celestials. I still get a few upgrades from doing these, but not too terribly much. I also wanted just to say that like anybody can do these Celestials, even as a tank. I know there's a little bit of anxiety around tanking, but I can say from experience, I've taken I think the entire expansion so far. And I'm not a huge fan of tanking. I'm not very good by any means. But as you can see here, you grab this buff, which is incredibly strong, and you could just go through and do some very large pulls. Like, don't be scared to do it. I think I've got like 504 item level, like not too terribly much. I only do 10-man raids, very casual. I don't do anything beyond like the bare minimum here. And so for this dungeon, the biggest thing there, like that second room can be a little rough when you're early gear. I remember getting hit a few times. I even popped a few cooldowns there. The lightning, I don't really know what that does outside of try to do damage. I just run through it and it really doesn't even touch me. So I don't know if I'm supposed to avoid it or not. But this is standard for every time that you run this. You gather them all up and just AoE them down. Like for a druid, thrash is just it's so much threat. When I first started tanking on a druid, I was ripping threat off my co-tank because thrash is just so much. Thrash and mangle are so much threat, and I would just completely rip aggro, especially if you berserk and your co-tank has just taunted. You will 100% rip aggro back. Uh, this boss fairly simple, fairly straightforward. There's not really a lot to it. He just does his little frontal that you move out of. I'm almost certain I could probably solo this boss at this point. It would take forever, of course. But the ground pound is what you move out of. The going bananas just gives them an attack speed buff, but again, like they did not up the damage to tanks in this dungeon, so I just see like you're just never really worried about your health. This part can be a little bit interesting for some tanks. I I will focus on the big ones, the hoppers and the boppers. I will make sure I hit those. The hoplings, I don't really do anything with. I let them come and they'll eventually get there. They don't do any damage. So sometimes the DPS will kill them on the way, sometimes they won't. But you just run straight through and you get them to here. I do Ursals in case someone pulls aggro like they did there, it bounces them back and you don't have to worry about it. That's definitely not required. It's just something I like doing because I like to use that spell. They die pretty quick. This boss again, not ever concerned with dying. I don't think I have been in any of these new Celestials. They're just not threatening. They're not hard. I definitely think the difficulty curve was very low in this. I do taunt when he is doing this little whirlwind here. It will pull him back for a brief second and keep him still. But as you can see, like there's four people getting hit by that, and it does no damage. There's just, and I don't know if it's just because everyone is already overgeared and they really didn't tune it because Throne is not the biggest jumping gear, I guess. But these are just not, they're not difficult. Like they're free, honestly. I'm sure I could probably do this in much less gear because I do some pretty big pulls in a few other dungeons, but it's just there's never really a threat of dying. So do not like if you're wanting to try out taking, this is the best time to do it because there's just not a lot to what's going on here. There's not a threat of death. There's not really like DPS. doesn't really have to do that much to get the group or dungeon done very fast. You get a lot of practice. I mean, our DPS could probably tank some of this too. Like it's just there's not a high difficulty. So if you're looking to try tanking, this is a great time to do it. It's very good practice. You can do it in a celestial. You can get a full set of gear fairly quickly. I don't know if I ever mouse over it, but I've got 20 stacks of the Nizal buff, I think it is, and so I've got a ridiculous amount of HP right now. So even if you come in here poorly geared, this 20 stacks is still going to give you a ton of HP, and it's like you probably won't have too much trouble. I mean, you may have trouble if you're like getting straight greens or something, but even then, I wonder like if you have a good healer, you could probably do it if you have good a cooldown usage. But I don't even think I really pop my defensive cooldowns at all. Like I pop bark skin. It's a 30-second cooldown, and it's just something I do all the time. Even if I'm probably not taking too much damage, it's just very habit forming that I just pop it constantly. But you don't really need to. On this, I do pull that pack outside into here. It just makes this go faster. Definitely not required, but it definitely makes everyone's life a bit better. Here, everyone hides behind the pillar. I pull one. It comes through. The only bad part is the hunter pet ran out there and kept a couple of them there. Normally, all this will stack together, but it's not an issue. There's no big deal. I mean, we'll kill it. It takes us like I think 3 more seconds. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, this whole run hasn't taken but what 10, 15 minutes to do this entire dungeon. It's a very, very fast dungeon. These ads don't do much damage. Usually, you just click them down a little bit faster than this, but it's not a big deal. Like very relaxing. Don't have to worry about much. The mechanics are not high. There's not a lot going on. Uh, I do know the healer in here, so it's a lot easier if you're running with friends, especially if you're a tank. If you know your healer, it's a lot more comfortable, right? Because you don't know uh, who you're going to get in there with. So if you at least have a healer, the DPS can be good or whatnot, but even tanks like do a ton of damage. On this, do keep them out of the yellow. It does silence you. Not You just pull them out of there. Sometimes they'll stay in it and cast, so you may have to silence them or interrupt them or something to get them to pull out of it, but it's not too bad. Boss here will have a bunch of different mechanics. He is the last boss, but again, I don't think there's even much to worry about, to be honest. I mean, I think this is a fairly large group. I did jump to show the jump on this one. So when you jump very high, and that's because there's a mechanic coming up where you have to jump over a little yellow, two yellow lines on the floor. But I think by now probably everyone's done this boss 100 times. So it's just the Thunder King event or whatever they're calling the new Celestials didn't really add too much. There's a random ad that will spawn at certain times. He has to be tanked. That did cause a little bit of issue when we first ran it, because there was a thing where if you were in the bubble on this boss, even if you have aggro, it still won't aggro. I don't know if that's been fixed, but all you gotta do is make sure that everybody is in a bubble and you're fine. That was probably I think that's the only issue I've had. Yes, so that run was a total of what, 9 minutes, I think, is what we're at now. And so super fast. You get like 18 or like somewhere between like 10 and 18 of the little August celestial stones. You can get a very low item level tier. Some of the trinkets I got first. I really noticed a DPS increase from those trinkets, and that was really good. I think I'm going to show one more. Yeah, I think we'll queued up again. I just like to fly around and do stuff while I'm waiting on the queue on this. But again, just wanted to show that like if anybody's worried about tanking, now is a great time to do it because it's the buffs are extremely overpowered, the mobs are extremely underpowered, and it's a good time to go in there and just do stuff. Like I was just showing how much some of this stuff was. Um, but yeah, I mean, a couple and you get a piece, and so it's not too bad to get the gear. You cannot upgrade them though, which I thought was weird, but I guess that they're doing that for the new raid. Setting Sun, I used to not like this dungeon, but now it's super easy to run because of all the skips they have. Pull all these, you nowadays you won't have any issues. Like when this first came out, we were fresh to 90. Uh, People did not know how to dodge the little bombs, and so that became an issue. But now it's just you just want to pull everything. And usually, I say usually DPS will let it go until you get up to here. The smoke does block your healer's line of sight, so if you don't know your healer, you may want to be aware of that. I know my healer. I know what he's doing, so I know I have nothing to worry about. I did actually forget to pop my quote unquote power the entire last dungeon. So that little bar you see on that's behind my weak auras, that bar when it gets full, it will I'll be able to use a special AoE, which does do a decent amount of damage. I flashed up my talents just in case someone wanted to look at it, but the the talents are just standard. Guardian Druid's not the hardest take in the world. I like it because it flows. I tried a couple of the other tanks. I just didn't like how they felt to play, and it's really nice to have a really giant health pool and to dodge a lot. I dodge all the time. I do main tank for the raid, and we're in Throne of Thunder, of course. Progressing through that. So you see the little yellow bar that's full right there at the bottom? I can use that little green Nazal button to do an AoE. It's not too bad. For here, everyone again has probably already done this. Just run through again. Lightning doesn't really do anything. Don't even know why they added it, to be honest. I will taunt this group right here. Just a thrash, plenty. Go back in cat form. They won't catch me. And keep running. Sometimes you will lose people. Like if you see on the map, some people do get a little farther behind. I do drop Ursul's right there every single time, and then as soon as you run on the elevator here, they'll drop. So the hunter kept up, but the warlock and the warrior, as I notice here, are pretty far behind, and I don't want them to die. So I'm watching where they are, and I'm worried that this is gonna aggro here. I see the warlock running through with that little fire thing. It does do damage to them though. But just to be safe, I run out, I knock them back, and then we're good. We're on the lift. Now nothing aggro's you. Like you can see, they just stop. It's a so much faster way to do this. This boss up here is probably one of the most boring bosses in the entire place. You pull him, you DPS him a little bit. He flies away. I think you see the ad here. Yeah, the ad spawns right here, and so right there's the ad. I just taunt it, and it's good. And then we just kill this ad. He does pull in a few of his little bug ads here. They're not too bad at all. You can taunt them. I mean, I recommend taunting them, of course. I don't even know if they could kill a DPS. I know that the lightning guy can do some high damage to the DPS, so that's probably going to be your like number one thing to go after. But the little ones don't do much. I think I think some point on this I actually stand in the fire just to see what it does because it does like no damage, and it's just fine. Like there's people right now. Yeah, I'm standing in it, and it's just I'm absorbing with my little absorb everything it does. There's the second little lightning ad that spawns, which I was kind of thankful for because it gave me something to do. Because this guy he just keeps flying around. I mean, as you can see, the hunter is just in the fire, not taking any damage at all. And that is partially because of the priest shield, because I have a really good healer, but it's just there is not really a lot of damage in these dungeons. The hunter will just about finish it off. He still has to finish 2 routes of his flying, which is unfortunate if you're trying to get through this dungeon fast. So he's officially dead. He flies back and then he dies. I will immediately click the elevator and start running. My healer, who I know, is clicking all the cannons. And we just, once you go up here and click the torch, it teleports everybody to you. So you leave someone behind, have them click and fire the cannons, and then you go click this torch to quote unquote light it, and that just pulls the entire group to you and allows you just to go a bit faster. Here again, just grab the ads. I think one was being weird. Yeah, the one back there, and so I have to wait for it. So I get it finally, and then I go grab the boss. There's just not, again, not a lot of damage. I don't remember taking too much damage, but it's very possible I took some for Frenzied Assault. But yeah, no, never mind. So the little lightning did a little bit of damage, and the warrior stood in Frenzied Assault. Like I think the warrior took like 4 or 5 hits there, and still didn't really do enough to be like super threatening. The main thing here is to kite the green around the outside, pull the ads into Frenzied Assault if you can, because it will kill them. I can even take quite a few hits of Frenzied Assault. I could probably stand in the whole thing and be fine, but I don't want to stress the healer out that much. Keep kiting through here. Every time he does Frenzied Assault, he spawns ads. Make sure you grab the ads. Boss goes down extremely fast. You can tell he's almost dead. That was the DPS, melee DPS ability. It does like a pool. I've seen people really mess that up quite a bit. So just be careful when you're doing that. That little lightning ring that you saw, because we were in the middle, we didn't get stunned. On the, I think it was the first boss or sometime last dungeon, I forgot what, I got stunned by it. So if you're in that ring, you're fine. I think, don't quote me on this. I think that you can jump over it too. Like I said, don't at all quote me on that. So this boss is incredibly boring if you're a tank or a healer, or actually the unlucky DPS, because two of the DPS can go up there. A DPS pulled it, which is fine. He doesn't really do much. I usually will do like a little bit of threat just to get there, but it doesn't really matter too much. I think I actually eventually stand in one of these tornadoes because I was just kind of curious to see what they would do. You see, there's DPS up there on the guide that are doing damage to it, and they're trying to get that little weak spot, which if you see on the top right or middle right, you see that weak spot. That's what they're trying to DPS down. And so this just kind of repeats. I do believe it summons ads here in just a second that come out, and all you gotta do is grab those. I think that's the biggest difficulty for a tank. Yeah, this right here. You just taunt these ads, pull them to you. I did actually pop my power out. I wasn't sure if I did it here or not, and they're just dead. And so weak spot's almost gone. As soon as the weak spot's gone, he will randomly chase someone the entire time. Yeah, I'm standing in the tornado. It does 8,000 damage, 10,000 damage every second, which is just nothing when you've got almost 700,000 health. So now that the weak spot is done, he fixates on somebody and chases them. All you do is DPS this boss as a tank. Yeah, that's the lightning ring. There it is. So it's stunned. And yeah, just keep DPSing the boss a little bit, and he'll eventually go down pretty quickly. I think that's it. Trying to make these videos just to be helpful with people with tanking and stuff. I think it's a good time to tank, good time to get involved. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I will definitely answer them, or at least respond to them if I don't have the answer. But if not, hope everyone has a great day. Enjoy some time and go out and do some tanking. Have a good one, y'all.